And a lot of you asked what noun self was, so let's talk about it.
Can't wait! Self-identifying with pronouns certainly isn't enough for me, so I'm excited to learn about noun self. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and there's many, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. We're living in a time where, as you know, there's people propagandizing the idea that you should derive your self-identity from aspects of sentence structure. Obviously, pronouns are just that. It's been the primary way of trying to get people to get their sense of self. If you self-identify with something that you're not, it is inherently disempowering. Fact check me on that. It's true. If you self-identify with who you actually are, now that's empowering. And I want to create a distinction. Identifying with who you are, it's very different than identifying with who you think you are, because you can easily think that you're something you're not, and therefore you'd be self-identifying with something that you're not. You're just tricking yourself with that. So I would dare say, with all the great spiritual traditions, religious traditions, certainly Scientology, it's just a universal principle. Knowing thyself and identifying as yourself, it's inherently very empowering for people. But we're living in a time where some would say globalists want people disempowered. They're easier to control if they're not empowered. So what if? What if we can get people to think there's something they're not? They'll be inherently disconnected from their own power. That's great. Yeah, I'm not on board with that agenda. Therefore, I like to call out the BS manipulative, corrupt ideologies that are designed to get people ultimately disempowered. Pronouns are just that. Like, to think that the entirety of your being, the miracle that you are, is to be found through identifying with an aspect of sentence structure, pronouns. It's laughable. It really is. It couldn't be worse. And now, the plot thickens. We just saw a quick preview, the short video we're gonna watch where I assume a scholar, she maybe, is now advocating also identify with nouns. Not just pronouns, but nouns. Another aspect of sentence structure. It's cool. Now, I think this is kind of funny. Like, it's hilarious because how can you not laugh at it? The absurdity is just so off the charts. Yes, it's inherently disempowering. Some people are consenting to it and diminishing the beauty and magnitude of their miraculous being. So it's hilarious because, like, yeah, bad stuff is happening, but it's so absurd, it's funny. But here's another thing I think is funny about it. I've been making jokes, and I mean, probably at least a year ago, in videos I started making jokes about, like, hey, identifying with pronouns, that's cool, but let's also identify with nouns. Like, you can be a person, place, or thing. Like, let yourself just think you're a noun as well. And in Babylon Bee fashion, that unfortunately became a prophecy. So, noun self, it's a thing. Let's learn about it, ladies and gentlemen. And as we do, this comes from the Twitter account Clown World.
I spoke about emoji self recently, and a lot of you asked what noun self was, so let's talk about it.
All the followers that look up to this teacher were asking about it. That's cool.
Noun self is a form of neopronoun where
neopronoun, great. Did we just make up a word there?
An individual will use a noun to replace a pronoun.
Great, because sentence structure in grammar has a distinction of nouns and pronouns. We're not even talking about thinking you are those aspects of sentence structure, but grammar has nouns and pronouns. And now we can just like substitute nouns and pronouns for each other, which if we didn't know any better, we'd think we are obliterating language. And language helps convey meaning, perspective, and truth. So if we obliterate the vehicle that conveys meaning, perspective, and truth, then I would dare say we're obliterating meaning, perspective, and truth. But hey, I'm just over here accidentally thinking.
So instead of using he, him, she, they, he, she, they will use a noun in place of that.
I like that. I like that. My truth, I've been feeling very place-ish. I feel like Italy. I am Italy. Italy is my noun self, so please address me as Italy. But please note, that's not my name. I am that place. Because that's what a noun is. Person, place, or thing. It conveys this is a place. So I want you to know I am a place. I am Italy.
Now, what noun can they use? Well, To be honest, it's really up to the individual, kind of like emoji self.
Oh, that's cool. When you don't have any basis in truth, it's like you just make up your own rules as you go along. I like that. It's inclusive to everything.
Some people may choose a noun that better reflects their gender identity. They may use nouns that all have a similar theme, or they may just use a noun that they really like and enjoy the sound of, or the word.
I like that. Like, I am what I enjoy the sound of. That's great. And I demand that you identify me as such. Violin. Violin Italy self is my pronouns now. Are my pronouns. I just screwed up grammar and she's teaching you to screw up grammar. I accidentally did it. So Violin Italy self. Wow, I just like the sound of that. Like, that feels true because I like it. It feels like it's me because I like it. And in fact, I think I'll just go a step further into empowerment by saying, like, yeah, anything I like the sound of, I will think that I am that thing. And I can be a thing because nouns, person, place, or thing, I can be a thing. I don't have to be a person. I can sound.
It's really up to the individual, and they can use as many nouns as they want. They can use multiple nouns.
I'm like 745 different things. Good luck keeping up with my self-identity. It's ever-changing.
Just like you might use multiple pronouns, or they may use just two pronouns to identify with or to be referred to. In that previous clip, I didn't mean two pronouns. I meant two words in place of two pronouns.
Now it makes sense, because what she said before obviously didn't make sense, but with this clarification, all the nonsense is ironed out pretty well.
Instead of he, him, they may use bug and bug self.
Bug
Hope
and
that
bug
makes
self.
sense.
I like
So
that.
as I just said, bug is an example that I will use. So if I was talking about my friend who used bug and bug self.
Friend who thinks they're a bug. Cool. Sounds like a good friend. Klaus Schwab might be looking for your friend to be a food source for the people he controls soon. So watch out for Bug self.
Pronouns, I would say, oh, me and Bug are going to go head out for some pizza. Bug really wants to get pineapple on pizza. I don't really like pineapple on pizza, but it's Bug's favourite. And that's an example of how you would use noun self.
That actually does make sense because bugs are typically attracted to fruit. Pineapple is fruit, if we can still identify it as such. But the question I have on this, friend Bug, who wants pineapple pizza, which is questionable unto itself, why doesn't Bug just identify as the pineapple? Then Bug won't have to bother going to the pizza shop to get pineapple pizza when Bug can just be the pineapple instantaneously, because if Bug thinks that's what he, she, they, Bug self is, then it's just quicker and also cheaper. You would never have to buy pineapple again if you just own your truth that you are the pineapple. Next quick clip I want to show you from Libs of TikTok, I believe, and this is someone using nouns as their self-identification. So we just got the lesson. Now we're going to see the theory put into practice. Oh, I can't wait. So here we go. Libs of TikTok post says, do you think this person looks like a man or a woman? Okay, fair question.
Hi, I'm Nikki Dreammaker. I'm a non-binary trans woman who is also a lesbian.
Non-binary trans woman. I thought non-binary meant you don't really identify with any gender. So I think what they're saying is, I'm not a man or a woman, but because I'm a non-binary woman, I'm a non-man or woman who's also a lesbian. Dude, like, it's the age-old joke. Like a man saying, I'm kind of a lesbian trapped in a man's body. So I'm guessing this person is actually heterosexual with some problems on top.
My pronouns are fairy, fairy self.
Love it! Pronouns are fairy, fairy self. Those actually aren't pronouns, they're nouns. So this person kind of like needs the previous lesson to learn, like, hey, you just go full on with the nouns. Like, they're not the same as pronouns, but own it. Like, fairy, fairy self. I like the sound of that. Henceforth, I am Violin Italy fairy self. That is exactly who and what I am. I am glad I have a lot of self-awareness. I'm connected into my power because I'm owning the truth of who I am. I'm self-aware enough to connect to it, and I'm courageous enough to express who I am. What I say I am? Violin Italy fairy self? I like that. Dude, I love it. I'm brave.
So love me, follow me. It'd be great to talk to you.
I'd imagine a lot of people are going to follow you.
And to all the transphobes out there, please don't talk to me, because you guys are being very mean. Remember, trans rights are human rights.
It's interesting. Trans rights are human rights. It's incorrect. Human rights are trans rights. Human rights come first, and all derivatives of people, subclasses of people, they source their rights from human rights. It's not like, oh, trans rights gets to override human rights. No individual group's rights gets to override human rights. Why do I say that? Compelling speech. Freedom of speech is absolutely a human right. It's in the US Constitution, but it's also in, I think it was 1949 UN Declaration of Human Rights. Freedom of speech is one of that. That means you can say what you want as long as you're not inciting violence. But it also means they, whoever they are, which is anybody other than you, they can't compel your speech. They can't force you to say anything, which means kind of like one of the LGBTQ initiatives is forcing people to call you what your nouns, your pronouns, not necessarily what they are, but what you say they are. So yeah, human rights, those are trans rights. Those are human rights are also rights for redheads. They're rights for white people, rights for black people, rights for literally people. It's weird. It's getting a little 1984 outside, but the beautiful thing is the more we see it, the more we're realizing, hey, here's what's going on. I'm not in it. We can observe it. Therefore, we don't get caught up on it. We see what's going on. And I think now more than ever, having awareness, being an awakened human being is more important than ever before. So I appreciate you watching this breaking news with me, my friend. It's important to be aware of, and dare I say, it is just entertaining. With that said, I look forward to seeing you on our next video, but before that, I want to tell you about something special. You probably know by now that CBD has become an absolute staple at helping people promote their health and overcome challenges. But unfortunately, it can be hard to find CBD brands that you can trust in terms of potency and purity. That's why I started Awaken CBD, because my life and my health has been massively positively impacted by CBD, so I wanted to bring CBD to the world that they can trust. At Awaken CBD, I am proud to bring the most potent, pure CBD to the market with the highest quality control and organically grown CBD that you'll find. The backbone of the lineup is the full spectrum CBD oil tincture. And we've also got full spectrum gummies, which are delicious, sleep gummies, sleep formula, and intensive pain relief rub, which I am reaching for every time I hurt myself in the gym, which is unfortunately often. To help you meet your health goals and overcome your challenges, I would be honored if you gave Awaken CBD a shot. You can find it only at awakencbd.com. Enjoy, my friends.